Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the iLeague Season 3 Dota 2 qualifiers. Here in the group stage, we've got these Chinese qualifiers, Vici Gaming versus HGT, and we are looking at the second game in this two-game series. So, looking at the two teams, Vici Gaming taking the first one by storm, 1-0. They are looking pretty good. They have this death ball strat that really has a lot of difficulty being countered, but it's also got a little bit of a rat to it. It's kind of combining a little bit of TI3 meta with a little bit of TI4. They're putting out pressure on multiple lanes, but still overwhelmingly focusing on that big, heavy team fight that just can't be dealt with at a certain stage in the game. So really fast tempo. Vici Gaming have been taking a lot of games within the first 25 minutes or so. So we're looking at perhaps another one of those, but I really do feel that strategically there are going to be some counters to it. There are enough heroes that we saw in 6.83 that are still prevalent in terms of turtling and holding a defensive position. So it is about early kills, it is about early momentum and map dominance, but there is still the comeback. And I think that 6.84 is putting us in an even better place, an even better spot for having a mix of early game aggression and mid to late game strategy. So I really feel that with the new items, with the comeback gold still in existence, just not as strong, I really do feel like there is good potential for teams to find counters that can not only hold the ground against Vici Gaming, but also, of course, turn it back around. So we'll see if HGT can find the answer to that, but for now, we're opening the draft with Lion and perhaps Super's Dragon Knight. Seems to be the best answer here. Queen of Pain and Ancient Apparition banned out initially. The Undying and the Tidehunter banned out by HGT. I'm actually really surprised about the Tidehunter ban. That doesn't make... That's kind of... I mean, obviously Ice can play very well, and it would be very frustrating to deal with, but there are so many other heroes that you see in Phase 1 much more commonly. Anyways, Lion and Phantom Lance are going to be the initial pickups for Vici Gaming, so it might be Hao picking up that PL, and that would be really fun to see. FY most likely drafting up the line for himself. And that leaves us with HGT. We're going to see Westbrook's offlane Spear Breaker. Really good Barathrum player. We have Lina, who could be in the mid and the support. Really kind of enigmatic. This draft could go a lot of different ways. But HGT like to emphasize a little bit of global presence with their drafts. That kind of felt a little bit missing from their last one. But I like the activity that we're going to see here. Spearbreaker is going to find some early kills, look for early opportunities to charge. The Hex does counter him a little bit with that instant disable, canceling the Charge of Darkness. But sometimes you just got to bite the bullet on that one and still just go ham. So we're going to see the Broodmother ban. That's very respectful of them against Vici Gaming. Ice is just a really good Brood player, and he's kind of defined that hero, or at least redefined it in his own way. Phoenix is also going to get banned out, as well as the Troll Warlord. So a lot of bans committed to the offlane. I'm curious if they're going to continue to ban out against Ice, and ban out heroes that he would like to play here. Vici Gaming, still having plenty of options in the pool, very flexible individual players, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see Super Solo Mid coming out in Phase 2 here. So we'll see. Probably a 4-position support for Fenrir, perhaps the Chen once more, and then they can kind of go based on that. Go Chen, Dragon Knight would be really strong as far as momentum, but maybe they want to try a mix of things. It's still pretty fresh in the patch. They could go for a different all-around strategy and kind of show their flexibility and make sure they get some practice on all those variable heroes. But here, going into Phase 2, Hybrid Glory team, they ban out the Witch Doctor. They know there's no Troll. So we'll see exactly what we're going to be facing here. So it's a really tough position to draft from. Maybe just stick to their guns, play heroes that they're really comfortable with here. They could go with the Wisp still. I think the Wisp plus the carry could be really strong. Obviously the Disruptor's still in the pool, and that's a little bit awkward, but with the Witch Doctor ban, I think they're going to go for a Wisp strat here. So the question is, what Wisp strat? I mean, there are a number of heroes that work really well with the IO, but I'm not sure exactly which one will fit this game ideally. So we'll see. I mean, Wisp Tiny seems pretty good. I think they could pick up that combo here and do some good work with it, but they're going to go a different route and try their second hand at the Bounty Hunter, this time Sans Broodmother. I think Bounty Hunter is a great support that can roam around and create opportunities early on to get that gold. The comeback is even more alive with that track gold. But the big deal here is they don't have to worry about the Broodmother continuously forcing pressure into that side lane. They can actually roam around. They can actually start trying to control the other parts of the map. I don't know that the bounty hunter is going to get one of his primary early game bounties in the courier. The ground courier is usually an easy thing to snipe in pubs, but Vici Gaming, seeing that micromanagement from Super just really was inspiring to just see how well they could read where the bounty hunter was going to be and play it safe to make sure that wasn't going to happen. That was just all over impressive. But we're going to see Phase 2 of Vici Gaming. They're tapping into the reserve time, thinking about it a little bit. How do they best want to deal with the Gondar? I mean, Gondar and Spearbreaker for that matter. Like, if you think about it, you're having one person charging in from any direction as long as they have vision, and you have Bounty Hunter, the Invis hero, who's scouting you out. So I think map control is a pretty important aspect for Vici Gaming. Maybe getting like a Zeus or something for vision on their side of the map. Beastmaster could be pretty good too for the Hawk. Just any way to kind of detect things. Get a Sentry Ward down and otherwise have good intel. So we'll see. Tapping into the last 25 seconds here. I think Super Zeus would be pretty good. I already mentioned the Dragon Knight Chen. Chen's not ideal against Bounty Hunter, to be honest with you, because he's very reliant on the jungle, and the Bounty Hunter, at the very least, can just sit next to the Chen and steal half its experience, and in the worst case, actually last hit the harder creeps to get more gold for himself. So they're going to go with a Morphling instead, and this very well might be an offlane Morphling. We've seen How pick it up, and we've seen Ice pick it up, so we'll have to see what's in store. If they run the Lina mid, they could pick up a Rubik here. They kind of are lacking damage in the early games, though, so we're going to see the Night Stalker come out instead, and Air might be picking that up once more. So Lina, Bounty Hunter supports, Night Stalker mid, Spearbreaker off lane, and we'll see what ZSMJ is going to pick up for the carry here. The silence is really good against Morphling. If you open with Crippling Fear, he won't be able to waveform away, he wouldn't be able to toggle the Strength Morph on, that kind of thing. Could be very strong. I think some defensive heroes could be pretty good. You could couple an Abaddon with what you see here, and the Aphotic Shield could be pretty strong at turning fights and to keep people alive when they're crippled. Tree and Protector is not too bad. Living Armor is really good, and obviously you can still be pretty aggressive with that hero. So I would say something defensive would work for these squishy heroes, and Io definitely counts. I mean, Io is a hero that, with that healing presence, would obviously keep people alive for an extended period of time, and as we saw in Phase 1, the Ancient Apparition was banned out, so we'll be seeing some Wisp play coming in from Vici Gaming, and that should be pretty fun to see. The last time they played IO, they were running kind of supporting Storm Spirit and Night Stalker. They ran a duo offlane, FY and Ice Ice Ice, where the offlane Night Stalker Wisp duo. So we'll have to keep an eye on the possibility of them running that combo again, maybe with the Wisp Morphling, and seeing what they can do there. And I think they could actually, if they run like a duo lane with the IO and the Morphling, they don't have to run a Strength Morph. They could actually run an Agi Morph and do a lot of damage, because the weakness of the Agility Morphling is that he has low HP, but with the IO Bottle Sustain, it shouldn't be an issue at all. As long as they keep him above a level where he can be bursted down in like a second or two, they're going to be fine, and that's going to give them a lot of potential. We are, however, going to be seeing HGT pick up the Centaur Warrunner here, and that might be ZSMJ's hero. They may be running a safe lane carry Centaur just to get off their feet. I think that's the general game plan, is not really, okay, how do we close out this game if it goes 50 minutes? We're saying, how do we last the first 25 without just being crushed? And picking up an all semi-carry lineup can definitely do it. Centaur Warrunner obviously benefits a ton from farm with the early Blink Dagger, Tranquil Boots, it has the good burst damage. The double edge against the Morphling would be really nice. Night Stalker obviously is very involved in the second and third night, and they're still going to pick up Super's Dragon Knight. So this is a tri-core involving Phantom Lancer, Morphling, and Dragon Knight, and I think we might see that duo offlane again. Ice 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 on the Morphling and Io on the picked up by FY. So I think that could be really, really good for them, and we'll have to see. Obviously, we see how on the Phantom Lancer, Super on the Dragon Knight, and Ice 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 on the Morphling. That was clear. But how they run this Wisp is the real question. I think it's going to be mid Dragon Knight. I think it's going to be duo offlane with Morphling and Io, but you never can tell. It might just be the Strength Morphling and Io does his thing on the top and mid lane. So we'll see. But it should be a pretty interesting game no matter how it pans out. I mean, we've got two amazing teams on our hands. HGT, they may have been kind of taken in by Vici's strategy in the first game, but they are no slouches. These guys can really bring it back the other way in the right situation, and I'm expecting some big things from Kaka's Bounty Hunter this time. It's not going to be overshadowed by everything that's happening on the other side of the map. So we'll see. For right now, it's going to be the tether movement that gets them their ward down. The Morphling is, generally speaking, very slow, 285 base movement speed, but with the tether help, he's going to be able to make his way to place out at least a decent ward here. Not too bad. Not too ambitious, but sees what they need to see. The rune spawn, and up to this point here, as far as their western flank. So, not too bad. As far as scouting things out, ZSMJ and Pretty Haw are making their move here. They're going to have this kind of double stun composition that makes it very difficult to be aggressive against. Essentially, though, they're not really leading with anything other than right clicks from Pretty Haw. Like, he can go ahead right click as long as he feels like, but not going to be finding anything as far as easy kills unless Vici start getting aggressive. So looking at opening items here, we're going to be seeing HGT. They've got a couple of stout shields. The offlane Spirit Breaker needs one. Oh, they're actually contesting the both bounty runes. This is very dangerous here. I'm going to look at I think they got the top one. We'll look at bottom. ZSMJ goes for the stump and claims the bounty rune. And the reason I say that's dangerous is because of how reliant Io is on that bounty rune. If he gets the bounty rune the way he intends to, then he suddenly has a bottle instantly and can do a lot more with his early game. Instead, he's going to be waiting about 30-40 seconds here, getting the bottle out late, and then Super, who also needs a bottle, is going to have to use the Courier at pretty much the exact same time. So Super's bottle is slightly delayed, but still, they get him the bounty rune nevertheless, and they're going to have 2 bottles on the Donkey at the same time. So here we are on the bottom lane. Pretty Haw going to be able to zone out Isis Ice pretty well here. And he's got Waveform and Mangoes first. So I was talking about the problems with HP. Well, Mangoes are the solution here. And he's still trading hits. He knows that once the Light Strike Ray is gone, as long as Centaur doesn't have the Stomp mana, which obviously he used on the bottom lane, Isis is fine. And he knows it. So the Mangoes will bring him back up. And this allows him to play around with his stats a little bit more. He'll just gradually morph into strength. He doesn't really need to like commit to it hardcore. And it should work out pretty well for him. Early last hit's going in for air for now, but we're going to see Breathe Fire make that more difficult, and he's probably going to have to avoid some last hits, as you can see. Still, got to see up top some pressure out here. Westbrook is in position to charge, and they're going to go for Fenrir. Will the Earth Spike come out in time? No, he misses it! Fenrir with the critical miss! Oh, he rolls a 1 on his D20. He goes the wrong vector, and Westbrook claims his life. Fenrir feeding First Blood mid. Pressure from Super, but that's just because he's got that extra bottle regen now. In the meantime, FY, he has made his way down bottom. They want to collaborate. Isis Ice and FY can do some really good stuff here now that FY has his bottle. I think they were looking to do this sooner, but again, the bounty rune down bottom got claimed by the Centaur. So they'll just snatch some creeps, cause some problems, give them the rough and tumble. And we're actually going to see, yeah, Waveform pass, Tether through. This seems like a pretty standard combo, but the Light Strike Ray will connect on the Wisp. So 1 or 2 less right clicks coming in there, and ZSMJ will look for a stomp. There was going to be a rune contest, I thought, but Kaka ends up nabbing it for... Oh, no, actually it was actually picked up by the Dragon Knight, just barely. So, Haste Rune for Super, and Bounty Rune kind of hanging out bottom. So let's keep an eye on this. The Waveform Tether, that's a pretty standard combo, but we'll see how they follow through. Pretty Haw, they want him, but ZSMJ hits with a stun, hits with a double edge. FY gonna have to bottle pretty soon, but Waveform pass, Pretty Haw will be the second life claimed, and FY's bottle keeps him alive. The creeps will hurt, the creeps will frustrate, but FY, he might make it out. 295 MS versus 300, but he gets the bounty rune and just starts bottle sipping through. So he'll be alright, he'll tether back up to Ice, and at level 2 he can actually give him a refresher on his mana pool. So, with the second waveform forward, Ice is able to get a kill for himself in the offlane and looking pretty good. He also has Mangoes, so he can always go for the next wave if he needs it. But ideally, FY uses Spirits, tethers to Ice, and then bottle sips him up. And then they can go in. But it looks like they'll just be happy with harassment and taking the creeps. Oh wow, Air is doing so well on this mid lane though. I feel like Dragon Knight got a lot of really critical buffs when it comes to the laning phase, 1v1, but Air, obviously he's just saying, I don't really care about that, I'm still going to be able to control this lane really well. And it seems to be the case. Obviously we've seen pretty much passivity ensue since the top lane kill, the First Blood. Just obviously XCT wants to find an opening, but just bit by bit, getting in some Orb of Venom, harassment, some Janata strikes, that's going to be plenty for them. And let's see Gondar max the Shuriken toss from here. Gonna see the Sentry Ward come out, but it's a little late. Fenrir can't stun them out. They can only stun one. They'll hex the other one, but the Orb of Venom slow. The last bash right click. FY's rotation is just a moment too slow, and they're not able to heal up the Lion in time. So, Sentry Ward will not scout out Kaka. He'll stay to the west, and with that, they get another kill on the Lion. He's having a really tough time. Generally speaking, I would say Lion should be able to manage this pretty well, but he just doesn't see these charges coming. They go through the tree line, and they just pin him down. Now with the help of FY, Superman's up on air, but the charge is coming against him, so although he's hasted, he's got a DD rune too. He still is going to get stunned out, and they're going to look for the Void kill. One more hit, and they get him. Oh, man. That is a huge kill against Super, but they do get one against Kaka pretty high in the process, so good movement there from Ice. It looks like the rune... I don't even know where that... But I think the bounty rune was denied. I think one of them actually attacked it and killed off the 4-minute bounty rune spawn. But anyways, and Kaka trading bottles most likely. Yeah, there we go. Now air is full. Abuse. But yeah. No, this early game is being very interesting. I mean, this has been a 4-minute game, guys. This doesn't feel like a 4-minute game. There's so much going on, so much action across the map, and a very aggressive bounty hunter getting punished under a Sentry Ward. But like every single lane, you're seeing action. I think I've caught most of it, but it's been very interesting, guys. This is a wild ride, and we're just 1 minute into the first night. This is where Air really wants to get involved, wants to look for a kill on the Phantom Lancer. How has the Doppel, so should be all right. Creep wave, not going to see. Oh, they are going to see Westbrook. This is going to take aggro. Oh, that's not good. Taking aggro really means that you're going to be able to clear these creeps, but you're not actually going to be able to gank on the top lane. So we look at bottom. There was a stun combo there. The Light Strike Array connected, and they followed it up with the Hoof Stomp. As you can see, he has no mana now. But we're going to see rotation on the mid. Super pretty tanky, especially with FY behind him. Overcharge, 2 bottle sips, and a magic stick. Super should be fine, and they'll actually look to turn it around. There are 3 heroes there, so they got to watch out. But it looks like, again, Dragon Knight will be fine under tower. So Ice goes back to the lane. Yeah, he brings more strength this time around. He was running pretty squishy previously, but he needs a little bit more HP. Fun to see the Orb of Venom, though. I have no idea if that will ever turn into a Scotty, but maybe one day. It's a Scotty Jr. We're going to see Kaka rotate around. Fenrir going to pretty much guaranteed die. Like, he doesn't see this coming. He gets all the nukes against him, and he doesn't get to cast the spell. Oh, that's so sad. Now we see the rotation, though. Going and looking to tower dive the Centaur, I believe. Dragon Knight is very tanky here, looking for the play, but we'll see the rotations perhaps come through. There's a lot of TP rotation potential. The Stampede will be useless, though, as the Dragon Tail locks him in. They Adaptive Strike, the waveform. They keep diving. Where are the TPs? Nobody's coming to help ZSMJ, but he might not need it. He'll live. He'll live with 65 HP. Tranquil, Magic Stick, and TP away, and he'll be fine. Meanwhile, Hao is being dove. That's why they're not TPing. They're diving the other tower at the same exact time. Hao juking as best he can. The Doppelganger gets him out. And FY can't really do much but ward them off as they push the tier 1 tower down bottom. So we're going to see not only does the kill succeed down on the bottom lane, but they get the tower as well. And that is a really big feat. Well, FY kind of chills out here, gets a little bit of experience solo from the creep waves, but has to back off before he gets jumped. A very gank-minded lineup coming in from HGT. And we'll just, look at the kill at KDA. Covering that. 3-0 and 1 for the Spirit Breaker. 2-1 and 0 for Ice. And we're going to see the stuns come out against Ice, but actually they don't connect with anything. Light Strike Ray misses, and now without that, we're going to see the jump. Pretty Hog gets stunned out, ×2, and that's going to be 1 kill. They're looking for another one, but the Adaptive is only level 3, and the Strength to Agi ratio isn't net positive for the stun. Soul Ring coming out for Ice. He will be tapping more into Strength now, especially as he approaches level 7. So we'll see that here. So ideally, you have 50% more Strength than Agility when you go in for these stun plays. And we're going to see him Soul Ring to actually get that extra strength here, and that's going to be very nice. So yeah, he definitely has the 50% advantage now. These stuns are going to be lasting a long time. 3 1/4 stuns coming in from the Strength Morphling, and he's got his Tranquil Soul Ring. The only items you really need of this hero to get rolling. The Orb of Venom's cute, though. So we have 750 net worth advantage for Vici Gaming right now. I think that's going to shift. I think that we're going to see a lot more momentum built for them as they look for the next tier 1 tower. And it's going to be harder and harder for Vici or for HGT to hold position. But we'll see. Maybe they find a nice kill on Ice. If he can't waveform TP away, he is kind of in a precarious position. We'll see up top, though. They're going to go on to How. Will they be able to get him despite the doppelganger? No, he just doppels immediately, and he's gone. Like, there's no way that gank happens now. Air wants to dive it, though, with the phase boost. They bring in the Wisp. FY is the new target, but under the tower, they're taking too much damage. A long adaptive strike makes, again, the Stampede completely useless. And that's just going to be the cleanup on to the Lina. They'll actually get the Lance onto Westbrook, so we'll continue to watch that. And with one more waveform across, or just the adaptive strike, they'll be able to bring Westbrook down. So good play there, good pursuit, and a 7-5 double kill for How. Wow, really big momentum shift for him. He's only been able to farm 46 last hits. It's far and above anybody else, but still, he's been under some pressure, and the kills really make up for that. And now, like I said, we're going to see this turn. We start at 750, but they double it up within a minute. We're going to see them build momentum with this Ice adaptive strike. Like, it's a projectile now. As you can see, there was a little kind of wisp of water there, but we're going to see an attempt on How's life, maybe, if they feel confident in it. Yeah, they need +1. They need the Spirit Breaker to charge through. And there's another charge. There's another stun.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Kaka stocking up the Wisp would be a really good hit. Janata against a 0 armor target. He'll drop fast, but Super's here with the stun. They ping it out. They saw the Wisp ball strike, so they know there's going to be a fight. Who are they going to go on now? FY is the focus. They'll go down first, but they're going to turn it around with a couple of major stuns here. Onto Air, locked down for such a long time, and he will fall. How's next? They charge him, but he doppels onto the cliff. He'll survive up on the cliff and lands down to help the rest. 2v2, but Fenrir's coming in. Gets the Hex out, gets the Earth Spike, and Spirit Breaker is looking to fall. Nice Breathe Fire to finish the job, and they'll just TP away. Kaka can do nothing but watch them retreat. So How did doppel up to the cliff, but TP's out after he makes his contribution, and suddenly things just keep turning in favor of Vici Gaming. They're really able to fight so well right now with all the disable they bring. If you just run some of the numbers here, they've got a 2.5 second stun from the Dragonite. They've got a 4.25 second stun from the Morphling on only a 10-second cooldown. Guess I should have mentioned the 12 seconds for the Dragon Tail. And then you've also got the Earth Spike and Hex, which add up 2 seconds and 2.5. Like, those are it's just chain stun central coming in for Vici Gaming. And of course, they've got some decent magical damage to follow it through, especially when the Finger of Death comes out for Fenrir. Speaking of Fenrir, going to be eating some damage now. They know he has no mana. They have sight on him, but they won't follow through with a charge. So, it's just momentum. 3,500 net worth for Vici Gaming. 3,000. Another small column before the storm, and we're going to see a lot more fight break out very shortly. I mean, we do see the Blink Dagger coming out for HGT, so there is still some hope. Hyperglory team can initiate pretty well with this Centaur Stomp. And another cool aspect of it is that he won't have to worry about being adaptive struck when he goes for a Blink Initiation. The old Morphling, if you blink into him, he's going to immediately adapt to strike before he can even hoof stomp. But because of the projectile that we're seeing, or barely seeing, I'm not sure if the stream quality is good enough to show the little tiny wisp of projectile it actually gives an animation for. But yeah, if the projectile is distant enough, ZSMJ will still get the stun off unless the Hex or the Dragon Tail comes out. So it just depends on who he's jumping. If he's jumping a solo target, there's a few that might be able to respond, there's a few that won't. They go for the smoke play, though. If they find somebody here, it would be big. How can he get the doppel off? This is huge. They have vision on him. He's just falling back. How will he get it? The hoof stomp connects, and 1 stun means 2, means 3, means death. How will be killed off, and there is a stack here if they want it. And meanwhile, in mid, there is the death of the Night Stalker. They just jump in. Easy adaptive strike. Easy Dragon Tail. Easy kill. They actually relocate in the Wisp. Or the Wisp and the Morphling, for that matter. They leave Ice behind, though, for this fight. Awkward position to be in, but they stampede. This should be HGT's fight. They do a lot of damage initially, but a nice Earth Spike turns it around. 2-man Earth Spike. Westbrook charge of darkness away, and that will conclude that. Kaka going to be pushed back. Dragonite getting the last stun on the tower. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 for that part of the fight. 1-for-1, really. I don't know. I would say it's just 1-for-0 with the tower going down. That's probably the best way to describe it. A lot of stuff happening all at once. But we see Westbrook going down. The charge going to peel him out, and the Urn of Shadow is not going to be enough to take him down. Oh, the Spirit's almost actually getting him, but no. So that's going to be how to push on the tower. Again, yeah, Centaur was really the only casualty in the mid exchange. And then, of course, they go for the tower. But Super finds a flank onto Kaka, and they're going to bring him down. He can't invis out in time. And, oh, Centaur, blink, blink, blink. No, ZSMJ almost gets caught out, too. These stuns are in such a short cooldown, they can just keep spamming, and if you're out of position for even a second, they can punish you so heavily. Vici Gaming pushing onto this tier 1 tower, but another strike comes forward. Oh, adapt the strike to cancel it, and breathe fire onto them all. So they take the tower, and I think they fall back from here. They're kind of hurting for mana, but they connect with the Spirit Lance on the waveform, and there's another adapt the strike coming through. They are going to lose one here, it looks like, unless, oh yeah, with the Crippling Fear, the Replicant expires, but they're still chasing. They still have enough magic. And Westbrook's going to get caught out on the flank. So ZSMJ stampeding out, will fall to this Spirit Lance. And then back on the back end, Spirit Breaker will fall to the 2 supports. Now we see Kaka throwing out track after track, trying to at least give the movement speed boost, if not the gold. But they're just all full HP, ready to keep fighting, and obviously take more and more as far as the towers go. All the tier 1s have fallen. This will be the last glyph for some time, and it's still going to be the tier 2 falling, it looks like. Adaptive strike onto Kaka. He's not invis. They will be able to chain it up with the Spirit Lance, with the right clicks, and finish him off just barely. Nice silence onto Super. It really did give him a better chance of surviving there, but in the end, a chance is not enough. They need something more. This is just getting ugly quickly. Westbrook getting caught out. He has the Charge of Darkness. We'll see where he goes with it. Oh, doesn't even get the chance. They just have too much stun. They lock you out once. They lock you out thrice. This is just disastrous for HGT. They just cannot make a single misstep against this kind of a lineup, or they get just completely destroyed. They need to rush BKB on the Night Stalker again. I felt bad that he had to do it the first game, but 2 games in a row, Air is going to have to rush a BKB if he has any chance of participating in these fights. Dragonite already has it. While Air's looking at an Ogre Club and 400 gold, the Dragonite is sitting on a full BKB. They know that the game is all about the here and now. They don't care about what happens after they use 5 or 6 BKB charges. Because, generally speaking, you hesitate. You're like, oh man, the recipe doesn't even give me a boost in my stats. It's just the Ogre Club and Mithril had just slammed together. And then it gets weaker as I use it. So you usually want to say that's my 3rd or 4th item. But this game, it doesn't matter. It's all about the here and now. It's all about this second. The game won't last long enough to use that BKB more than 3 times. At this rate, anyways. But we'll see HGT. They want to bring it back. We're going to see the attempt to stop, but Super with the quick BKB. The adaptive strike against ZSMJ. He'll have to stampede again if he wants to make a clean escape. But Ice right now getting caught out. Nether struck, and he will Strength Morph through it, almost surviving. If that was a level 3 Strength Morph, I believe he lives. But he went for the waveform to make sure he could contribute damage to this game. And as a result, he narrowly falls. Still, 4, 2, and 10. He's looking pretty good. I didn't really get a chance to talk about his progression, item-wise. He's just the most interesting. I was talking about this when I like the second week of Strength Morphling, and everybody was going for, like, Shiva's Guard and Yule's Scepter and all these extra utility items, Blink Dagger, of course, on the Morphling. And it was still kind of a suboptimal build in my mind. I'm like, okay, well, you want to do more with this hero. You want to make him something more than just a Blink stun. And I believe the Hand of Midas is the answer to that. And Morphling, because when he goes Strength, he can't farm. He does 40 right-click damage very slowly, so he can't farm. Actually going to see a engagement up top. We'll hold that thought. Westbrook might look for a charge, but oh, how? Moving very far forward, and they're just going to stampede out. The Relocate scares him off. And Fenrir does not have his Blink Dagger yet, so there shouldn't be any successful kills here, but they do get the Dust. Drums of Endurance almost actually catches him out, but he will escape. Or play some games with him at the very least. So, yeah, the Hand of Midas allows him to build up his farm without flash farming. He gets to, without getting any creeps past the landing stage, still be able to build himself up to higher levels, higher gold, and then go for those higher utility items. And we're going to see actually a pretty good strike onto Air. He's tanky though. He won't be going down. And they actually pick up FY over here. So the Lina combos up her spells, doesn't use the Light Strike Array, the Laguna Blade, but she does bring him down. Kaka is going to be able to invis out here. Super caught in the stomp. Nice stomp coming in from ZSMJ. And they just kind of force him back to the base. Ice living on his last spell with this Soul Ring. They get the tower though. Morphling last hits it, and man, down goes the bull. Mr. Spirit Breaker falling in. Really wanted to kill him, Fenrir. It looks like Pretty Hell will get it at the cost of his life. Super BKBs though, so that's something at the least.
We outnumber them all.
So, right now, momentum has kind of stagnated here. We're at 12,000 for Vici Gaming. They've taken a lot of towers, but they're not breaking the base quite yet. So they're going to kind of go back to farming a little bit, get like 1 or 2 more items, and then go in for another full volley with all their HP and mana. And with this point booster drop, you can actually get a lot of mana out of this Soul Ring, and he's going to use it to morph his strength, his agility a little bit, since he's going to have that Ogre Club soon. So, utility items, utility items, utility items. I've been using that as a vague descriptor because I've been leading into what's coming next. Ice is building the Aghanim Scepter on the Morphling. So he's going to use this new ability, I believe it's called Hybrid. I've never seen it in action. But essentially to copy one of his allies and to create temporarily a second extra hero. So not only can he just jump into a fight with a waveform adaptive strike, but then he uses the hybrid to become Dragon Knight or Phantom Lancer and do what he can there. We'll see, but right now it's going to be a pickoff on the Bounty Hunter, good Observer Ward, and good relocate play. But yeah, so I'm really excited to see this. It's going to be not even 800 gold away as he clears out some more creeps, and Midas is up. Now down to 600. Tower makes it about 550. So we're going to see this, hopefully we're going to see this Aghanim Scepter effect, and we'll actually get to kind of get something more than just on paper about this item. See how really valuable it can be. Actually going to be a nice stun coming in from ZSMJ though. Light Strike Array hitting onto 2. They evaporate super, and they kill off Ice. So really great initiation from ZSMJ. They still get the tower. Vici Gaming will retreat, but that's still 2 kills that they really needed. Look at the comeback gold on this. 2750. They each lose nearly 800 total. And then 3824 on the experience. Now we see the charge onto FY. Not really much he can do about this. The Spear Breaker is going to stay on top of him for a long time. He'll look for the tether onto the creep wave. And they still have the track. They'll get a double shuriken here as well as the double stomp and try to burst down Fenrir as well. Gonna finish him off with Westbrook's Bash and a Doppelganger for How. Can he finish the SMJ off? He wants it, but the Lance shifts onto Kaka instead. So everybody disengages. A good run for HGT though. They kill everybody but the Phantom Lancer there. Really good movement. And the Ag Scepter is going to be the next item for Centaur. Despite all these stuns against him, he's not going BKB. I'm not sure if the Ags is that good. Maybe it'll save an ally that's stunned, though. That's an idea. If somebody's caught within Dragon Tail and the Adaptive Strike and the Lion Chain stun, generally speaking, there's no hope for them. You have to nether swap them out, you have to give them Repel or a Photic Shield to save their life. And with those 3 heroes not in this game, I guess their best response is to just give them the ultimate. Give them the 70% damage reduction and hope they can live through that. But, yeah, we'll see. Obviously, that means he has to be very careful how he initiates and make sure they pop a few stuns before he actually goes into the fight at all. Until they get a minor jump back the other direction, and we'll see where that takes them. But we are also going to see, in just this 100 gold, this hybrid come into play. It doesn't work, as far as I remember, I only read the tooltip like twice, so again, I haven't seen this, but I think you can only use it when your replicant is inactive, and then you become that hero. You lose the Morphling for that 20-second period, but it doesn't matter if that hybrid dies. Along with that, since it can cast spells and attack, it actually looks like the real one to the enemy, because they're like, oh, well, it might as well be the real one. Go for the Dragon Knight, kill him quick, and they'll try. But we're actually gonna see them purge off the track and go into the pit. Nice play from How there. But yeah. Generally speaking, like you see replicants bait out a bunch of spells multiple times over. We'll just highlight over this while I talk. But generally speaking, you see the replicant bait out spells. Oh, ZSMJ charging in, gets the Adaptive Strike against him, no BKB! So he's not going to even get the Hoof Stomp off, just barely does it. But where's that Morphling? He is a Dragon Knight, he is stunning, he is fighting, and he's going to do some work here. Kaka will fall to the hybrid and to the Finger of Death. And that's going to be a FY healing up, tethering with the hybrid to take him on a magical journey. But we'll see here. The Roshan be the prime objective. How we'll be looking for this Aegis, or maybe Super. Either one could be benefiting from it quite a bit, but it's going to be How to pick up the Aegis. And Morphling's back to his old thing. It does cost me 200 mana, but otherwise it's a pretty low-risk ability to use. You get that pretty much outer shell as you morph into this hero. It's just really interesting. So there's the hybrid at work. He turns into a dragon. He does an extra dragon tail. So essentially the way that he wants to play the fight is he wants to start with an adaptive strike, hybrid into the Dragon Knight, follow through with a 3¼ second stun from the Dragon Tail, and then 20 seconds after the hybrid is used, he'll turn back into Morphling and Adaptive Strike again. So you're talking a lot of back-to-back disables, a ridiculous combo, and just a draft to make it work. So we'll see how it comes into play here. And Super just gets tracked. Not a big deal. And there's a Replicant. We'll take it down. I guess you could do 2 relocates at once, couldn't you? You could turn into a Wisp. The Wisp tethers one guy and relocates in, and then you tether the other carry and you relocate him. That seems interesting. And then if you do it at the right time, if you wait 9 seconds into the hybrid and then you go for the relocate, you don't get sent back because you're no longer the Wisp, right? So I think that there's a game plan where for global strat you have one person as the bait. Then you have hybrid 9 seconds before you think the fight's going to break out and you go for a double relocate. But we're going to see Super jumped on, couple of good stuns, a lot of good nukes, and he doesn't get the chance to use the BKB. And that's going to be enough to force them out of here. FY, he tried to relocate Dragonite out, and instead he will fall. Oh, man. Nice attempt, but now he's going down. And Hao's going to try to doppel away. Wants to keep this Aegis intact, and it looks like they'll let him. We're going to see Ice pull some shenanigans with the Replicant, and he'll be able to jump out here. Or actually, he's a hybrid. He's a Phantom Lancer, and we'll see how that plays out. But how? Fenrir and the 2 PLs going at it. The Super PL army ×2. Just building up the illusions as fast as it can be, but we are going to see the Lion die on the back end. The Spirit Breaker and Bounty Hunter are able to take care of that one. So good play from XTT and Kaka there, but now Ice in his real form is being stunned up. They lose How, and I'm not sure why they tried to take this fight. As cool as the hybrid is, it's not a way you turn the engagement. As it is, though, they lose the Aegis, they lose 3 heroes, and they walk away. And although it's not a clean escape, they're still not losing enough to make them worried about the current state of affairs. They still have a great mid to late game lineup. That's the power of Disable in general. Disable is an amazing thing to have in the later stages of the game, so it's great for Super to be able to be the big blue dragon very shortly. He's going to have a silver edge on top of that, so disabling passives along with the stuns and such. A quick rundown of how the silver edge is going to work in this game here. I'm just going to pull up a quick cheat sheet as well to make sure I'm getting it right. But you can stop Janata from critting. It still does the slow, but not the crit. You can stop Fiery Soul from stacking. She still benefits from the stacks that are already active, but it doesn't keep stacking. This is if she gets hit by the silver edge. The Hunter of the Night doesn't work as far as I know. And the Spirit Breaker's Bash should stop. I think the Aura, but I'm not sure. Let me double check that. Spirit Breaker. So this is kind of an informative piece just for those that don't know about the Silver Edge and break change, because it is kind of new meta stuff. Spirit Breaker is still disabled whether it's actively used or not. So, but it looks like he keeps the Bash. Interesting. All bashes are taken away except for... No, Spirit Breaker's greater bash is gone too. Okay. So yeah, loses the bash, loses the aura, whether it's active or not. And he's a good target to Silver Edge, but of course you can still Silver Edge, anybody, and get that bonus damage. And get the reduction of the damage they can deal. Like, it actually reduces a significant portion of their damage as well. Outgoing damage is reduced by 40% for that duration, which is 5 seconds, I believe. Yeah. Interesting stuff. So it's an all-around, like, all-purpose item. There's so much you can do with it, and there's very few heroes it's bad against. But it seems natural in Dragonite's progression as we see more and more Shadow Blade get picked up on this hero in general. It works really well as a strength item for him. So excited to see it in action. Along with this 6-second BKB, he can probably bring a lot to the team fight. But we are seeing some sentries come out. HCT looking for map control. Observer here, catching out the top rune, bottom rune, kind of central location, but it will expire. So they're getting good general vision where they're fighting, where Vici Gaming are taking the engagements, but they don't have aggressive vision to invade the jungle. And Vici says, okay, well, we'll just wait out a row cycle. Our heroes only get better with farm. Our Phantom Lancer, our Dragonite, and of course the Morphling. If you think about it, the way these fights are going to work with the hybrid, essentially, by farming on one carry, you're farming on two. By any farm that goes to Hao and his items will empower Ice's hybrid too. So any farm that Hao gets is twice as valuable for that 20-second duration in the team fight. It is a 140-second cooldown. It doesn't work while the Replicant is active. But other than that, really nothing hurting you. I wonder if Lion can mana drain it and kill it like a regular Legion, but we're going to see Super with a very fast BKB. They push in. The Glimmer keeps ZSMJ in the fight for now, but we're going to see on the back line them just going for Fenrir. He'll be relocated out. They can't finish him off just yet. Fenrir survives thanks to FY, and we're going for full zoom out here. Looking at the Lances, looking at the Purge onto Westbrook, and he will fall. And the relocate bounces Fenrir back. A great relocate save from FY. You usually look for that on the carries, but they say screw that. Ice did use his hybrid there onto the Dragon Knight. Not too much effect, but still he's back in his Morphling form. And we do see ZSMJ blinking and getting us nice stun. It's a two-man stun onto FY. He'll go down, but Pretty Hot will be stunned out by the Adaptive Strike and nuked down by the Finger of Death. Oh, man. These are some crazy engagements, but it seems like Vici Gaming just has the advantage in all of them. We will see an aggressive stance from Hao on the bottom tier 3. He'll get stunned once, but Air's the one caught out. Out of mana, out of life. Adaptive Strike, just doing so much work here. Dragon Tail on Kaka, and the death for him. Ice will push to tier 3, but very slowly with his current HP pool. He's going to TP out and replicate back, so he's got to keep this bounty hunter alive. And meanwhile, the tier 3 will fall in mid. So I kind of feel like they should stop splitting it. Oh, no, the replicant! Oh, Ice gets it back just in time. Doesn't get his full mana pool, but gets quite a bit. And yeah, they're kind of dividing their forces for some reason. Now they're actually pushing on one lane, which seems to be the better plan of action. We're going to see the charge in. Super buffs the BKB again. Short cooldown here, and they're just destroys the SMJ. Glimmer Cape again. He'll be bailed out. Really good Glimmer Cape usage from Pretty Haw, but now looking at Westbrook. He's going to get caught out by the Lance, the Urn, and now will be going down. And Ice doing some really good work. Killing spree for him. Hao is on a monster kill streak. And we're looking perhaps at the end of the game here. They're cleaning house. A double kill for Hao. Wiping out 3. Looking for the racks. Looking for the GG. It's been a little bit up and down since about the 15-minute mark. But now Vici Gaming pull ahead with a cleared edge. And they will pull forward in this series 2-0. The GG hasn't come out yet. Vici are trying to hold their ground. But it's just so difficult here. The hybrid's about to come back up. The Adaptive Strike is always there. And this Aghanim Scepter just hasn't done enough for the ZSMJ Stampede. So, the last hurrah, the last stand coming out with the Lina respawn, it would look like, as they need to hold at least one of the 2 racks down bottom. Looks like Melee's gone already. The Corrosive Breath taking it down, and Ice replicates the Dragon Knight. You get it one way or another. He'll replicate it for now. He'll hybrid it later. He loves to have that extra dragon on his team. And actually, ZSMJ missing the stun completely. Air popping the BKB pretty early here. But look at the control. Pretty Hot is locked out of the fight completely. Now super silenced up, bashed down. But he has BKB and the Silver's Edge still in play. FY gonna get nuked. Really good nukes coming there. We're gonna see on the back end of it. Morphling just trying to kill everybody up, but not able to do enough. Wow, where is this fight going? Super finishes off ZSMJ. Kaka gonna be able to kill off Super. Oh no. He's just on the run. The Glimmer Cape keeps Super in the fight as he will, and he's just going to turn it back around with the Breathe Fire. Air going down. This is their last stand. This is their last chance, and that is it. It's going to be the GG. I didn't even see what ISLS was able to hybrid in that one. But whoever has Guardian's Greaves, I think he hybrided, but I'm not sure. So, anyways, really, yeah, I think he hybrided Io. I don't know, but no matter the case, that was a hell of a fight from Vici Gaming. That was incredible showing from the versatility and the new meta strats coming into play. I really love to see the way they played the Morphling there. They got aggressive with the Wisp as I thought they were going to on the bottom lane. They built up the Hand of Midas, which I think is probably the ideal follow-up after the Tranquil Soul Ring, and they got the item out that they needed, which did so much work in that one. They got stuns, they got utility, they got everything from this pick, and of course that's the one that's fun to talk about. Across the board, Vici Gaming played a great game. FY with some great saves on the Wisp. Super played a tremendous Dragon Knight. Great BKB timings as always. This guy has some of the fastest fingers when it comes to respawning with BKB. And then Fenrir did a good job as well, though he did have a few issues against that Spirit Breaker. Anyways, that's going to conclude the match for us today. That's going to conclude the broadcast, in fact, as we are going to be concluding the iLeague coverage for today. Sorry, distraction there. But Vici Gaming take it 2-0. They play 2 completely different strategies that just show the versatility of 6.84 and of Vici Gaming themselves. First, Deathball strat, one with a split push from the Broodmother, now the semi-carry replicant strat, and I can see so much potential coming in to 6.84 of what we're going to be seeing from Vici Gaming in the future. They're playing all sides of the field here. They're playing all sorts of different tempos, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today, and that's going to wrap it up for us. Once again, this is Beyond the Summit. This was iLeague Chinese coverage, and that is going to conclude the broadcast today. I'm myself and Blaze, at Blaze Casting, and of course at Beyond the Summit TV. So thanks for joining me for today, and you guys have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you may be in the international world of Dota 2. Enjoy, may the 4th be with you, and enjoy some 6.84. Have a good night, guys.